Next, we'll hear from the gentleman from Delaware, Mr. Castle, for 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Credit rating agencies are meant to provide a valued service to investors by giving them an informed judgment on the risk of certain bonds. As we know, subprime and other mortgages were fragmented into pieces and then bundled into mortgage-backed securities and then rated. Investors relied heavily on the rating agencies' models to assess the risk of these investments before making a purchase decision. Yet when AAA mortgage-backed securities began to fail, it became evident there was a problem with the system. As the housing bubble burst, I grew increasingly concerned with this issue, as did my colleague, Mr. Ackerman from New York. In July of 2008, and again this Congress, in the form of H.R. 1181, we introduced legislation that directs the SEC to establish a process by which asset-backed instruments can be deemed eligible for nationally recognized statistical rating organizations, NRSRO ratings. Under this bill, eligible investments must consist of securities whose future performances can be reasonably predicted, such as those with established track records or homogeneous structures. The SEC would have the authority to strip nationally recognized statistical rating organizations of their NRSRO designation if the rating agency fails to comply with provisions set forth in the legislation. I am pleased that we are continuing debate on credit rating agency reform. Although I believe it is clear that action must be taken, I believe we must do more to set guidance on the eligibility of investments for NRSRO designation to avoid falling into the same problems we currently face. I look forward to working with my colleagues to ensure adequate reform moving forward. And just one further comment beyond my talking points here, and that is the question I will have of the methodology of paying for your services. That was raised a little bit by Mr. Sherman, I think, and I think it's a matter of legitimate concern. If the entities that are asking you to rate a product are paying you, does that influence the way all of this comes out or not, and are investors shortchanged for some reason or another? I don't have a solution to that, but I'm just interested in your comments on that as we go forward. I yield back to balance.
Will the gentleman yield?
I'd be happy to yield.
Seconds? Yes, my concern is not who pays the umpire, but who selects the umpire.
Well, if the wrong team pays the umpire, regardless of who selects them, that could be a bit of an issue too. So maybe we have to combine the two concerns. But I understand where you're coming from. I'll be happy to try to work with you on it.
Okay.
Yield back.